Cinephiles, film enthusiasts, and relaxation seekers. My name is Cinephile ASMR, and today we are talking about the MCU's newest project with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Now, this is a very, very interesting project to dive into from a lot of different perspectives. I mean, for one, the reception to this movie has not been very positive, which is quite striking because I think also a lot of people would argue people are very biased to MCU films with their critical reception, high Rotten Tomato scores, but as of late, things have been changing, and I think that has a lot to say on the movie itself, the MCU, but also the state of the superhero film as we know it. But before I get into all that, what is this film about? Well, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania follows the Pym family as Scott is riding off of the high of defeating Thanos, as he's written a book, and is kind of just enjoying the pleasantries of life. But when his daughter Cassie creates a machine that gets all of the family sucked into the quantum realm, they have to find their way out while also confronting Kang the Conqueror and all the hijinks that ensue. So again, I have been very fascinated by this movie. I haven't really been desiring to see this as the Ant-Man trilogy now that it is. Hasn't been one that I've remotely been a big fan of. I really enjoy the first one. Very underrated MCU project, but I gotta say Ant-Man and the Wasp really was not for me. Very low tier MCU, and I think with Phase 4 we've been seeing a lot of different cooks in the kitchen, a lot of diversity in all of the projects, and I will go on record as I have with Eternals, Shang-Chi, No Way Home, and the Disney Plus shows that this is a very profound phase, one of the most different ones that we've ever gotten, and for that it's my favorite. But I will say there is quite a few mixed bags in it all, and I think comparatively to the rest of the other phases 1 through 3, it seems very aimless as the MCU is prioritizing building a universe 1 through 3 and 4 through 5/6 within its phases, but in all the movies it kind of feels really loose and disjointed, which I think poses a problem when their modus operandi and main drive is to create a universe. So Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is supposed to kick off Phase 5. Now I have a lot of thoughts, but of course, as with everything, let's focus on the positive. I love Paul Rudd. I think he was born to play Ant-Man, akin to Robert Downey Jr. with Iron Man and Margot Robbie with Harley Quinn. He has such a tender, loving chemistry and charisma to himself that really just makes you love to see him mess up and goof around. Similarly to how I feel about like Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. You know, there's like this endearing goofball nature to them that just really keeps you endeared, and he really always has shined in this role, and this is no exception. This comes to him like light work, and that really does go as well hand in hand with Catherine Newton as Cassie Lang. I'm still very freaking frustrated over the fact that the original actress was originally going to play Cassie got recasted without even her knowing. Like, that's crazy, and we still don't know why, but Catherine Newton is great. And with that, the quantum realm itself, where all of the family goes into, is a visual feast when there isn't actors on screen. We'll talk about that in a bit, but they really did an amazing job opening this realm and these possibilities with different characters. The costumes and practical effects really took me by surprise as they were just so lush, varied, and diverse, with each ecosystem and biome posing its different set of qualities. I do wish we got a bit more of that, but for what it was beautiful. And the big sell for this movie, where I think it prioritizes most of its attention towards, is Kang the Conqueror. Now, I think there is a lot of things to him, Jonathan Majors, the character, the directions and writing that is taken on both fronts, but I will say, what is given, Jonathan Majors eats up. The MCU has a strong asset with Jonathan Majors under their belt. I think when you're coming off of the high that Josh Brolin gave as Thanos, where do you go? How do you take another Conqueror similarly in mindset, but make him stand apart? And Jonathan Majors adds a lot of levels to simple line delivery that is just, so good. But as I have said, I have a lot of feelings towards this, and with Kang, I think we can start delving into a bit of my flaws. I think this movie is a bit of a mess. It is 2 hours, but a story that needed to facilitate maybe about like 3 or 4, as this really is not only a quantum realm introduction, but the third film in the Ant-Man trilogy, also being a King the Conqueror akin to Thanos introduction, as this is going to be the thing that sets up the rest of Phase 5 and Phase 6 with the Kang Dynasty. But this movie is at its heart a comedy, a very fun, whimsical adventure. I felt I had watched something like a weekend cartoon. It was really fun in the moment, but when I came out of it, I didn't feel there was much meat to continually chew off of. And I'm not going to say that that is necessarily a bad thing for some. I know a lot of people don't like this movie. It's not Thor Love and Thunder levels of bad, but I just feel this script couldn't commit to a singular tone. And with someone like Jonathan Majors Kang the Conqueror, who is supposed to be this introductory to this brooding sense of scale, I didn't really feel that. And again, I really did respect a lot of the directions that this movie went towards, and I ended up having a lot of fun. I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than most, but it is clearly evident that a lot of these reshoots and rushed scenes, it felt as if every moment was going from point A to point B, and you weren't able to stop and smell the roses. And I've heard so many people call this a appetizer to the main course, and I kept thinking to myself in this movie, wow, I really don't feel like I'm watching a movie, as it is a teaser to another film that they're going to be making, and that's frustrating. And I think it's a lot of people who really give this credit for setting things up that lose the fact that this is set up without some payoff. And we've seen phases 1 through 3, phases 1 and 2 especially set up what's going on in phase 3, but also giving you enough to chew on. But this, I felt at times, didn't. It has lush VFX, but an issue with on-screen actors with the background. I don't know if they're using the volume or green screen. Either way, a lot of the MCU projects have been suffering very much with actors in green screen, but then it goes to how rushed things are. And I think to me one of the most surprising factors about this was just how generic it looked from a technical level outside of the lush VFX shots. A lot of the camera movements, it just felt stilted like a regular MCU project. And when I found out that this was shot by Bill Pope, a cinematographer who has shot things like Spider-Man's 2 and 3, the Matrix trilogy, Baby Driver, this felt so manufactured. And I think the MCU is currently at a state in pop culture because of its popularity, because of where it is at from people's perspectives, and it's so in high demand that they are churning things out so quickly that they're hardening the lives of VFX artists for the technical elements, and it ends up feeling more manufactured by a studio system than it does from creatives. It isn't always like that, but I think now more than ever, comparatively to the phases before, it's starting to really wear on people, and you can tell from the critical reception to box office return. I think really superhero burnout is a very, very real thing, and when you have things like the Batman and a lot of the smaller scale stuff that people are loving, it is showing. And unfortunately, I think this movie does falter from so much setup and a lot of fatigue and burnout, which ultimately kind of leaves you feeling unsatisfied. I didn't know that this was a script written by a Rick and Morty writer, and you can tell that in the best and worst ways. A lot of the jokes hit, some of them don't. There's a character in this MODOK that I won't go into. The look I didn't mind too much. It was goofy, but that's MODOK as a character. But his inclusion felt so pointless to me. You take him out, it would have served the film, I think, even better. Use that time to develop the family even more. But that's the thing, is I feel this movie definitely prioritizes shock value, setup, and it doesn't capitalize on what is already there. I like this movie, I really, really do, but I wish I could love it. I wish I could praise it, but so many things are so arguably mediocre to okay. I never felt there was great moments in the film. There was a couple really fun stuff sprinkled throughout, and Kang with Jonathan Majors behind the belt was really, really good. I just felt like they didn't do enough with him, and with what we got, I enjoyed. It just felt weird knowing that once this movie was over, I was like, wait, this is the start to Phase 5, but it didn't feel like that. So as to me, as someone who interpreted this as a fun Saturday morning breezy cartoon who isn't really involved within the bigger picture of the MCU, because I feel after Endgame, I'm just looking to have a good time, and I did. But when you realize that it's all set up, you can only have so much fun, you know? Paul Rudd is fun as always. Catherine Newton is great. And again, I just do wish that there was more time for characters to interact. It was very expository heavy. A lot of times it is telling you, like, Kang is a bad guy because people are saying he is, or the quantum realm is this because the character is saying it. But I want to show me. You have millions of dollars. Show me this stuff. You don't need to tell me. And I can tell that it was just a lot of rewrites and reshoots that leave this a messy yet enjoyable time. I think we shall see how the character of Kang evolves. The mid and post-credit scenes I enjoyed, as setting up quite a few things for especially a project coming soon, and I'm just very intrigued to look back on how this movie will age given the rest of Phase 5 and 6's trajectory. But again, with all that being said, Paul Rudd, great as always, but I just wish I had a bit more lush VFX. Green screen with actors in front of it was not so good. Felt like you're trying to get from point A to point B, but the moments in between did have promise. An ending I did enjoy. Kang was underutilized, but Jonathan Majors ate up the script. A messy script at that, though. I'm gonna give Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania a B-. Again, I think a lot of people might think I'm being a bit gracious or too biased. I just wanted a good time. I went in with very, very low expectations considering how much I hated Thor: Love and Thunder, and a lot of people liked it. A lot of people didn't like this. I enjoyed it. I guess I'm the contrarian that way. Again, I'm like an Eternals fanatic to the day I die. We'll just see how this pays off. I'm a bit concerned with how the Kang Dynasty and the sequels and the movies that are being made in between are going to connect this all, because there's a level of disjointment that is becoming a big sore thumb. But I'm here for the vibes, and this movie almost gave me that. Almost. With what I was given, it was a tease, but I enjoyed it. Let me know of what you thought of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania down below. Did you like it? Did you like it as much as I did? Did you love it, or did you hate it as much as a lot of people did? I really don't think this is the worst Marvel movie by a long shot, but it is pretty low MCU by its standards. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos coming soon. I love you all very much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You mean the world to me. Have a great day, everyone, and remember to take life one frame at a time.